Hey everybody, this is Devin with Homeschool House Calls, and we are back with our 14 days of curriculum. I'm talking about my top picks, where to find the things for your grade, um, or level, or whatever you want to call it. Um, we are. This is going to be kind of like your before you start high school because it's a transition. There's a little bit difference with high school, and I wanted to go over that before we start talking about what I pick out. So, there's some things that we're going to talk about. Let's pull up these banners. So, welcome to the 14 days of curriculum, and this is before we begin high school. See, I needed those a few minutes ago. I'm always incredibly excited and I love this kind of stuff. This is my favorite. It's my jam. So, anyway, when you start homeschooling, not homeschooling, but homeschooling high school, okay, you could maybe possibly have homeschooled for years. Me, when I started high school with my son, at that point, I guess I had homeschooled about 12 years. So it's like it was not a new thing to me, but it was still nerve wracking. Every time you hit a transition, you get a little bit nervous, maybe sometimes kind of doubt yourself and wonder if you've done a good job in the past, wonder if you know what you're doing. That's normal. You're okay. So, when you're going into high school, and really this is kind of something you can start thinking about in eighth grade, totally okay. The first thing is to double check your homeschool laws, your state laws. Remember that in the United States, each state controls their laws, so each state will be different. If you are living outside of the United States, you need to refer to your country laws and what they expect of homeschoolers for graduation. And that's a good thing because way back in the day when homeschooling became the modern homeschool movement, because let's be honest, homeschool has been around for thousands of years. It is not a new concept. Don't let anybody tell you it is. But the modern homeschool movement started in early 90s, maybe late 80s. I don't know about late 80s. I don't remember much of that. I graduated in 89. My sister was homeschooled. But when she homeschooled diplomas were not legal yet. But in the United States, they are recognized in every state. It has the same legal standing as every other institution. Don't let anybody tell you different. Your diploma, your child's diploma, is legally recognized. There's, you know, so the military recognizes it. There may be some little fuddly things left over, like in my state, I'm in Alabama. The police academy has some bylaw that we're working on to get removed because the military recognizes homeschool diplomas, colleges, but the police academy has something in their bylaws that has to be changed. Not a deal breaker. I still know homeschoolers who have gone to police academy. So anyway, so always check, especially your veterans. Check with your veterans. They'll know what works, what doesn't, what's going on. But check your homeschool laws. Do you have any high school graduation requirements? My state does not. I know my bordering states do not. Check with your veterans. Check with Homeschool Legal Defense. Check with your state organization just to make sure when you're going in that you're not caught by surprise. So my state, no graduation requirements, no exit exam. That's in Alabama, so that's where I am. Um, Even if you don't have anything, you must have a plan. You have to know where you're going. You don't want to get a year, 2 years in and not have some kind of plan. That is not a scary thing. It's not a hard thing. Um, if you don't want to come up with what you want on your own, it really depends on where your child's going. If you're planning to go to a trade school or a university that you want your diploma, your child's transcript to look similar to everybody else's. It's not that you can't pick and choose what you want, but you want the names to be similar. You want the material. I don't know that it has to be similar, but you want to look at what most high school graduates have and have something similar. So let me see. I'm gonna pull up. I'll pull up a screen share and show you what I mean. So there's websites you can go to get, you can Google your state high school graduation requirements. The public school system will you can pick up that. I use that is my baseline of what I want for my kids. I don't want anything below. Definitely, want to shoot higher if I can. Um, but I use it as a guideline. It's not my law. It's not going to, choke me because I have to do everything exactly like it says. But I use it as a guideline so that I have a path or at least a slight map. If you have a private school that you like, pull down what they require. Use that. Use it as your base. But before you get into homeschooling high school too far, you've got to have a plan of where you're going. You want to know everything you do with homeschooling, you want to begin with the end in mind. That's where it is the most important. You want to know where you're going, even if you don't know everything. So let's say you have a high schooler and they don't have a plan. They don't know what they want to do when they get out of high school. That is not abnormal. And your kid is not abnormal. Nobody really knows what they want to do. They might shoot a name out their mouth, but let's be honest, they're babies. They don't really know. I mean, they see what they want to do, but they don't always know what the cost is. That's okay. Head that way. Um, let's pull up the stuff, Y'all would think that I would get more organized. Let's see. Share screen. There we are. Okay. Nope. Wrong thing. Let me make sure where we are. I hit the wrong button. I don't see my stuff. Sorry, guys. I'm going to look for it real quick. This is a website that has every state out there. That is not what I wanted to go to, but we can go that way. Let's see what they've got here. Here's what they've got on there. They've got a little bit of list of everything. I don't use this list. I'm going to pull up what I've got real quick and see if you can see it. Let's see. Make sure. See, this the one thing about this platform, it does not like easy shares. So we are going to stop that and we're going to go back. Sorry. Yeah. I'm telling you, I've been trying to make this video all week. I'm like, that is just the week I've had. I have been trying to, let's see. No. Had to go look and see what it was called because it's not like being very easy for me to show you. There, that is it. Okay, so this one I like better because you can see it. You can also go to World Book Typical Course of Study, but I like this because it kind of has basic lines out. You're going to hit with the four core, even if they're going to trade school or they just want to start their own business afterwards. Hit the four core. You can tailor these inside that. It's like, they call it English 9, English 10, English 11, English 12. You can do business writing if they're going into business. You can do technical writing. You can tailor those Englishes toward what they want. Math, I know it says it starts with Algebra 1. I have had some who have, some who haven't for ninth grade. Do not skip math. If something happens that, let's say, they are not even in pre-algebra yet, call it Mathematics 9. You can call it many things, but do not skip math. That is the one thing that I never suggest and never push because math builds on itself. Everything else is kind of relative. You can kind of move it around. English, you can hit different things. It's almost the same. English does not build on itself the same way math does. You can hit things in different orders, I feel like, with English. Biology, you start with biology. This is kind of new. In the past, I had kids that started with other things like general science, which is more like a history of science, then physical science. There you can. When I started high school, it started with physical science and then went to biology. So if you're going to homeschool all the way through high school, this is the way it is. World history, U.S. history is 2 years, U.S. government. We deviated from that because my husband is an immigrant, and we decided that although we love, love, love U.S. history, 3 years of history was a little bit excessive. So we decided to put 1 year of U.S. history, 1 year of government, and then 2 years of world history. I wanted to do Russian history and Soviet history, but he didn't want to. So I bowed to his desires. So, because he's the one who's an immigrant, right? Let's see, what else have I got for y'all? This is the age where I work on definitely independence. Sometimes we start independence earlier. It just depends on the kid. It's situational. We have weekly business meetings. I have asked my girls if they would consider taping our beginning of the year business meeting. We have weekly business meetings, and that's what they're really, I mean, they're not in business, but it is their business to be a student. I mean, so we set it up almost like you would have a business meeting once a week at work. We sit there, we go over all the things that are going on, we go over all the due dates. I list when we're all going to be out of the house. I list when I'm going to be out of the house because I do work. So we list all these things so they know exactly what's going on. We go over what chores, how they messed up, what's got to be done, what's got to be added. We list in who's cooking what night, and we go over all these things. They also have due dates. I list the due dates. We are not random. Due dates have to be finished by Friday. If they are not finished by Friday, then they lose their privileges and their extras on the weekend because that's the real world. If you have due dates and you have things that are assigned at work and you're not on time, then you have to work late and get it done, right? You don't just leave and not get it done. So at first it was very nerve-wracking to do this. They do manage their own time with school. I do not set certain hours. I have things I want done. They know what I want done, and it's got to be done. So um, that is very hard to start. If you have not done that, is a little nerve-wracking. I would not give them a whole, if you start, don't give them the whole week unless they're really a responsible kid. Go by the day. You go by the day, then you stretch out to 2 days, then you stretch out to 3 days, then you go to 4 days, and then you go to a week. You don't start all at once. You go by the day and say, and let them. And it was really nerve wracking when they started sleeping late. Most of my kids sleep 10 to 12 hours. They wake up happy. That's a good thing. But it takes a lot of mental strain. But the plus side is now I have college students, I have two now, that can manage their time and do it well. They hire their own tutors for things. They are managing. We're negotiating, we're talking, we're seeing what we need. Each kid is different. I have some that I have to watch everything they do all the way through high school. I have had some that I never had to watch and they could have graduated early. It's just each one's different. You have to learn their personalities. You have to pay attention. Always be available. I always make sure I add in um, personal meetings during the week. They meet me on the porch. We have some tea. We have some iced tea, hot tea, whatever the season is. We have some time to talk about what we're going through and what we're doing and how their work is going. I also have the ability to check their work. And that's one thing you've got to remember. Letting them manage their work does not mean you're not aware. It doesn't mean you're not paying attention. It doesn't mean you're not participating. They are not on autopilot. They're not old enough to be on autopilot. They are not adults. Even adults are not always good at being on autopilot, right? I am still there. I am working with them. I'm watching what they're doing. My girls could try to lie, but it would be very hard for them to lie because I can see the things. Um, at that point, okay, so at this point, you've got your plan. You kind of know your plan. You've got your you got your plan. You know that you got to have a plan before you start. If you need extra help, to make a plan. I do schedule dates. I will post a link, I think, above where you can schedule with me. If you are part of my local membership group, I do have a local membership group, and we're beginning to start the ability to join it if you're not local. I'm still working on that, but I'm close. But if you want to schedule time, if you're part of my local membership group, PM me. I'll send you the link to schedule that if you don't have it already. If you're not and you want to schedule time, I can send you that link. I believe my price right now is $27. We're still on special because it's summer. I usually give a special in the summer because we're all like really trying to get everything done. Um, let's see. But overall, make sure you have your plan not too hard. If you don't have any idea, grab your public school list from your state, use that. Make sure you're going over and talking to your veterans to find out what your laws are. Make sure you don't have any exit exams or required schooling for high school. Um, ACT, start them as soon as you can, but you really need to get through Algebra 2 before you really, because of the math goes through Algebra 2 on the ACT. I always require my kids to take the ACT at least once. That's my exit exam. That's the what I set just to see where they are. And if they're going to college, they need to do it more. So they need to get, but they need to get through Algebra 2 before you really start that. If your child is behind in math, you can totally go straight through, and you can actually almost add 2 levels if you go straight through high school and then go through the senior year, the summer after senior year. You can just about get through 2 extra levels of math. We have done that at our house. We had to do that with my oldest because the year I had the baby, he got really, really, really behind. And when I told him a little while, last week we had this discussion. We talked about it, and I said, I really feel like it was my fault because I wasn't watching close enough and I'd had the baby. But he said, no, not your fault. I played. I messed up. But, it's somewhere. Maybe it's both of us. But there are ways to get past being behind. You're okay. But bottom line, enjoy every minute of this time with your kids. Um, don't let your plan choke you out where you're not enjoying your kids. Take time to laugh. Take time to enjoy each other. Take time to build your relationships, because your relationship with your high schooler will stand this test of time, so that you can speak into their life and that you can give them advice. That your relationship is top priority. Make sure you're pulling them out on the porch or your porch, wherever your place is. Make sure you're pulling them into your world and that you are walking into theirs. It's important from now on, you want to be able to sit there and have conversations about the boyfriend. You want to sit there and have conversations about what they're planning to do in school. You want to be able to be their safe place, and you want to be able to speak into their lives. And you're not going to be able to do that if you're so stressed over a plan that you're not having time to have relationship. So those are my top tips for high school. Tomorrow we will talk about ninth grade. I have begged my ninth grader to come sit here and we'll talk all the things. I hope she'll do that for me. And then we'll have 10th, 11th, 12th, and we'll talk about graduation. But this is the basis of the whole thing, and I'm going to refer you back to this video in every video that we do, but I will have my top picks tomorrow. So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you soon. Remember, have a great day. Always love on your kids, and like, subscribe, drop notes of things that you learned. If you graduated a couple of homeschoolers, drop me some notes and tell me what your top tips are. If you're getting ready for high school and getting ready to go into high school, drop below what you're thinking about and what you want to know, so that when I make the next 4 videos that I answer them. So anyway, y'all have a great day. I enjoy y'all every time. Bye, guys.